In this video, we'll be looking at how you can mark and give feedback to your EAL learners remotely. We'll be thinking specifically about listening, speaking, reading and viewing, and writing. The first thing to do is to gather evidence of your learners' language proficiency in listening, speaking, reading and viewing, and writing. To find out more about ways of doing this, you might want to watch the recording of the webinar Assessing EAL Learners During School Closures on the Bell Foundation website. Let's go on to look at how you might then give feedback or mark your learners on their work remotely. One way you can give feedback to your learners is by recording your voice on your phone, tablet or computer. This can be useful for giving feedback on listening, speaking, reading and viewing, and writing tasks. An audio recording can be useful for learners with spiky profiles whose listening is better than their reading, as it enables them to be able to access the content of your feedback more easily. An audio recording may be particularly good if there is no need for visual clues in order for the learner to understand. It's also quick for teachers to do, and it provides exposure to spoken English, which learners are missing out on during this time. A tool you can use to record yourself is Vocaroo. This is a very easy to use website which allows you to record yourself and then gives you a download button to the recording as well as a link which you can share with others. You may also want to video yourself speaking to your learner. This might be helpful if you want to provide feedback where you feel facial expressions and body language will help to improve understanding. In this sense, videoing yourself is much better than a basic audio recording, but it is particularly useful for bands A, who are new to English, and B, who are at the early acquisition stage, as these learners are likely to rely on visual clues more than advanced bilingual learners. One tool you can use to do this is Flipgrid. This is a website which allows users to make short videos of themselves and upload them to a wall so they are visible to a group of users. You could use this to give feedback, or you might also want to ask your learners to use it to upload samples of themselves speaking. This might be particularly useful if you want to give feedback to the whole class or a group of students who've worked on a task using Flipgrid themselves. You may also want to provide written feedback on whichever platform or in whatever way you're already using to communicate with your learners. Written feedback will benefit those learners with spiky profiles whose reading is better than their listening. An advantage of written feedback is that learners can take time to process it and potentially translate any parts that they don't understand. Another advantage is that learners can keep this and refer back to it whenever they like. It's important to remember to grade your language for your learners who are at bands A to C so that the feedback is accessible, i.e. make sure it's not too long, too dense, and that it doesn't include complex language, as this can be a barrier to understanding. To find out more about how to grade your language, watch the Bell Foundation guidance video above called Grading Your Language. One way you can support your learners when giving feedback on a writing task is to use an error correction code. Here's an example from Across Cultures, which is available through Learning Village. For example, if you spot a problem with spelling in your pupil's writing, you can underline it or highlight it in a different colour and write SP next to it. Error correction codes are a good assessment for learning tool which encourages learners to reflect on their writing and helps to scaffold assessment. You might also combine the use of an error correction code with the track changes or comments function on Microsoft Word to prompt the learner or explain any changes, perhaps offering alternative suggestions. If you use a shared learning space like Google Docs, you can work with your learner in real time to do this. For example, if you read your learner's writing, make comments and track changes, then you can agree a time to work on it together in real time. They can make changes and you can respond immediately. Once again, some students may not know how to use the track changes function. So be aware of this when setting this up. You may need to set time aside to show them how to do it. You may also want to use this tool, Langor.com, which is a Microsoft Word plugin for marking language. How this works is that the teachers create their own marking code and assign pre-made word comments that will automatically appear when you select the corresponding button. For example, you might notice that your pupils have problems with word order, so you would add this as one of the categories. When setting up your correction code, you're then prompted to write some text to accompany this error. E.g., you might write, "Please check the word here." Then every time word order menu item is clicked, the comment you've written will automatically appear on the relevant part of your learner's work that you've highlighted. This can help save you time and stop you from having to retype the same comments again and again. This is a Danish website, but also available in English. It's not free, but it does have a 60-day free trial period. You could also combine error correction codes and the use of comments with screencasting. By screencasting your feedback, you can talk through your learners' writing whilst showing them on the screen what you're talking about. This is the closest you might get to sitting down with the learner in real life and might be particularly useful if you want to explain something that's long-winded to type and easier to say. It's also better if your learner prefers listening and watching rather than reading comments. PowerPoint has a screen capture function embedded within it, which you can use to record yourself talking over anything on your screen, including a Word document. Simply go to the Insert tab, then go to Screen Recording. There's other screen capture software available, and many companies are doing free trials during this period. And lastly, for Key Stage 4 learners and above, there's a website called Write and Improve. This website is a Cambridge English website designed to help language learners improve their writing. This website asks users to write answers to questions and then gives the user feedback, including alternative suggestions for incorrect words or incorrect grammar items. After the learner has made changes to their writing based on the feedback given, they can then resubmit it and the website will give more feedback on those changes. This tool is based on the Common European Framework of Reference, so it's not curriculum embedded and therefore won't give subject specialist focus, but can help learners with language feedback. You might want to ask your learners to use this tool either before or after submitting work to you to encourage them to become more independent in their learning. This might also be a useful way of helping you to save some time on extra marking. So, in summary, to help you give feedback to your learners during school closures, you can use audio recordings, video recordings, written feedback, screencasts, error correction codes, and other online resources. For further CPD opportunities, the Bell Foundation also runs regular webinars. To sign up to upcoming webinars and to view recordings of previous webinars, go to the Bell Foundation website, then EAL Programme, Training and Webinars. You may also be interested in signing up to one of the Bell Foundation online courses. To do so, please also visit the website. Thanks once again, and please keep up all the great work.